Welcome to our weekly discussion of all things current in California politics. I'm Walt Gray. This week we're joined by reporter Emily Hoeven, political columnist with the San Francisco Chronicle. Emily, one of your recent pieces in the Chronicle, you're asking the state to classify domestic violence, linking it to mass shootings. How does this all connect?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different layers here, but the main point is that there is a bill in the legislature right now. It is authored by a Republican, but what it would do is it would classify domestic violence and human trafficking as violent felonies in the California Penal Code. The argument that I was making is we know that California wants to do all that it can to stop mass shootings, given the ones that we saw last month. There have been a lot of bills to restrict gun use. My argument is we know that domestic violence is very clearly linked to mass shootings. There was a study that found 68% of mass shootings that happened in this country between 2014 and 2019 had a link to domestic violence. So if we want to stop mass shootings, we need to enact harsher penalties on those who are committing felony domestic violence and have firearms.
In your prior job working for Cal Matters, you had done a story that was rather well viewed about the governor's schedule, Governor Newsom's schedule, and how his staff is not necessarily letting everybody know where he is. The Sacramento Bee did something similar to that last Sunday. This seems to keep popping up.
It is. I mean, I think when you compare the governor to a lot of other very high-profile political figures, including the president, many of those figures are releasing schedules that kind of show the public and show reporters what they're going to be doing in a given day, where they're going to be, who they're going to be meeting with. And the Governor Gavin Newsom's schedule has always been very opaque for the Capitol Press Corps. And that is not only when he is traveling, which I reported back then, he wouldn't reveal the location of his travel, but even his day-to-day schedule in Sacramento, it's unclear what he's up to unless his office decides to share it. And so that, there has been some concern among reporters that there should be more transparency because he's one of the, highest profile politicians in the country. We want to know what he's working on, what he's doing.
Well, Dianne Feinstein is obviously going to be stepping aside. Adam Schiff declared, Katie Porter has declared, and now Barbara Lee is declaring. So we have three basic, pretty well-known people who are in this race now.
Yeah, I think Barbara Lee's announcement was very striking for several different reasons. In her campaign launch video, she made the point that if she were elected, she would be the only Black woman in the U.S. Senate. Right now, there are none after Kamala Harris obviously was elected vice president. And then her pitch also talked about all of the different experiences that she's been through as an individual, from having an illegal abortion to being a survivor of domestic violence to being a single mother, all of these things. And I think that, that does set her apart from Adam Schiff and Katie Porter. I know Katie Porter is also a single mom, but I do think that as our society is a lot more interested in the diversity of lived experiences, she might be able to bring some of those talking points that specifically Adam Schiff especially might not be able to relate to as personally.
Yeah, we got a long way to go, November 2024, before this is decided. So we have a lot to talk about before that. And Emily, thank you. You can find Emily's work, of course, at the San Francisco Chronicle. If you want to reach out to Emily, emily.hoeven@sfchronicle.com.